sure we don't know everything. And oh my God, you guys, can you believe this? I made a friend as an adult. This doesn't happen. This is something that plagues a lot of people. We're always like, how do you make friends in your like past 25? There's like no new friends rule. I've only made new friends past 25.
Yeah,
I'm like, people, please come into my life. And I've met this wonderful, gorgeous, beautiful human who is here to explain to us all about how he founded. That's right. Founder Week, baby. Founder Energy. The Jaguar Church?
Yeah, Jaguar House Ministries.
Oh my God, that sounds so baller. Welcome to the podcast, my friend, Bobby Lennox.
Hey.
Let me give me your hand.
Sweet. Love the
Okay,
horn.
first of all, you're my new friend.
You are my new lover.
Truly.
Duh.
I like hate most people, adore you. We met through mutual friends who I also love.
Yeah.
And are the very few people that I allow into my space and
High
energy.
quality human beings.
High quality. This is that thing that they say your like closest friends reflect you.
Yeah.
And they're a reflection of them. Like, and you're a reflection of them. So it would make sense that we like each other.
And now we're reflecting each other.
And now we're reflecting each other.
Back to each other.
And it was so funny when the first night I met you, we were sitting like on opposite ends of the table, diagonal to each other. And I feel like we were just shouting across.
I mean, two fire signs at a dinner table together. Leo and Aries just being like, oh, we're going to be loud.
And I'm like, let me get your number. Because I didn't hear about like your story until later on in the conversation. And things just kept coming out from that end of the table that I was like, wait, hold on. What did you say?
Yeah.
What are you talking about over there?
Yep.
So just for the confidants, that's our listener's name.
Indeed.
Who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, my name is Bobby Lennox. I'm the founder of Jaguar House Ministries, which is a psychedelic religious organization.
What?
Yeah.
And I heard that and I said, what?
And you say, what the fuck? No, it's been such a wild journey to get here. Because my background was not in this work. My
Brag
background
about
was
it.
Not in religion.
Tell him.
I mean, I started out in the corporate world.
Yes.
I lived the 9 to usually 8 or 9 p.m. life for a long time doing corporate. Got me MBA at Harvard Business School.
Harvard Business School, bitch.
It's just a piece of paper on a wall at this point now.
The girl who dropped out of 3 colleges can't fully understand that, but
But you know what? That was just like, it was such a specific like mental training ground for like, this is how you need to operate in the world in order to be successful. And growing up, like my father was super successful. He like big corporate guy. And that was all I knew for the longest time around like, this is what my life should look like. This is what my purpose should be. This is what happiness will look like as it was derivative of success and achievement and just really entangling stuff.
wow.
And so worked at Fortune 500 companies.
Wow.
I was a serial entrepreneur. I built businesses.
Yes.
Sold one of them, like had exits,
Golly.
went into private equity for a little bit and ran software companies. And throughout that entire time, I was fucking miserable.
See, I think it's hearing all of this, we're all going like, no, that's the dream. You did the thing. You're doing the thing that everybody aspires to do, the founder life, incredible school, successful family, like Succession style, like vibes. And then it's like, you were fucking miserable the entire time.
Yeah.
And isn't that the story we hear over and over again? And yet we still are so subscribed to this idyllic life being XYZ.
Well, and that's human existence though, right? Because we love to use other people's stuff as examples for us because we're social creatures. And so that makes a lot of sense for us to say, oh, you're doing this and I really appreciate and respect what you're doing over there. And so maybe that's for me. And that was my entire life for the longest time.
Right.
It was, and also like my father's a raging narcissist. And so he raised me to be like, he named me after himself.
I'm so glad you called that out. We don't call that out enough from white men.
No, it's outrageous. And
from men in general. You don't see any women naming them Barbara the Third. You know what I'm saying?
Although I would love a little Babs the Third out there.
Oh my God. Can you imagine Kelsey Jr.?
The drama?
Can a woman do that, please? Just for us. We need a junior or a second.
We would love Babs Jr.
Skip the second. Go straight to the third.
Hell yes.
Oh, Barbara the Third, if you're out there, contact us. We have questions.
Please do reach out. But yeah, I mean, it ended up being one of those things where so much of it was on the surface. It was all superficial. It was me trying to compile this weird pastiche of like what
Good
I
word.
thought what I thought other people wanted from me, what I thought other people thought I should want for myself. Like it was just this weird entanglement of really difficult. Part of it was trauma. Part of it was just an identity crisis.
Is the thing that keeps you staying in that, is it really like the money and the power? I don't know the world you come from as well as I know like the Hollywood entertainment, and I know that that's very ego driven. Is something in like the corporate major success world, like is that also just ego and money and power?
Yeah, I mean, it can be, right?
Yeah.
And I think ego is something that we'll definitely dive into as we talk more
Yeah,
about
we
like
will.
the psychedelic medicines that we work with. But I think so much of it was I had a huge fear of failure. I had this fear of making my parents disappointed in me, which, you know, spoiler alert, they were inevitably disappointed in me regardless of what I did. It was always the inevitable conclusion. And so I ended up going through this massive phase of like, who the fuck am I? What am I doing with my life? Why am I doing any of the things that I'm doing? And, you know, like trigger warning on this for anybody who's a little bit sensitive. But I was manically depressed during the first business that I was building. I was talking with a therapist who was amazing, by the way. And I always believe in talk therapy as a complement to the psychedelic work that we do.
Love.
But there were only so many things that she could do because it's like having a chef in your kitchen and then you're the one who's providing that chef with ingredients and they can only make a meal with the ingredients that you're giving to them.
Whoa, I have never heard this I've heard a lot of metaphors for this, and I literally wrote a book about therapy. Never heard that one before.
It's an original.
That's great.
Yeah.
A Bobby original.
A Bobby original.
Jaguar Ministries original.
And so with psychedelics, what I ended up realizing was that helped me uncover and find more ingredients that were in my pantry to be able to give to my therapist to work with, and so we can cook a meal together.
It's just stale Cheerios back there.
I mean,
like
that does make
rock
a good,
hard powdered
good
donuts.
breakfast soup. But yeah, so I ended up the funny and like very random thing about all of it is I had some really good friends who were in New York. One of them was she and I were witches together and like doing all of our witchy shit in New York. She and her husband moved out here to LA and I was in New York at the time. And I was going to go visit them. And she's like, hey, we're going to be doing a psychedelic medicine journey the week before you're scheduled to come out here. Do you want to just like move up your flight and join us? I was like, fuck yeah, I do. Like, this
now, can I
sounds
ask,
amazing.
had you experimented with medicine versus DRUGS?
No. So I was like the most straight-laced.
No.
Yeah.
You're joking.
Right? This is the most like weird character arc of anybody in history. I lived on substance-free housing my freshman year of college.
That's hilarious.
Which is fucking hilarious.
Are they actually substance-free?
No. We had like a jug of Carlo Rossi every now and then. But like, and that's the thing too, is like it ended up turning into this really weird, bizarre landing place for me, having come from a place where I was so afraid to do party drugs of any type. Alcohol was my thing. I drank. And my first business that I built was a craft spirits brand and a liquor distillery.
Shut up.
So I was around it all the time. I was working nonstop. And that's why like I had such a mental health crisis because I developed a really unhealthy relationship with alcohol.
Well, it's your business when it
was
becomes
my
your business
and
too.
when you're going around and you have to get other people excited
They
about
want to
it, and
drink
you're making
it.
cocktails with bartenders.
I've known that to happen to other beverage founders
and
where I'm
so
like,
many bartenders that I know are sober now,
Yep.
which people are like, what, really? And you have to be, because if you are that type of person where you've developed that type of relationship with alcohol, you can't just have one. You can't just like have a little sip and have it be okay, because you end up going down, or at least I did, and I'm not going to generalize for other people, but I ended up going down this really bad path of, okay, well, I'll just have a drink at noon, or I'll do it. And I was also manufacturing. I was distilling every single day.
Wow.
And so I would go into the distillery at 6 a.m.
oh,
I would
God.
taste gin. I would be tasting gin coming off the still at 7:30. Being like, where do I make my cut? Like, what do I do?
I would have died. I would have simply died.
I very nearly did.
Oh,
and thank God for Diana, my therapist.
Let's
because
say, shout out Diana.
she's amazing. But the the reality of that situation was I was in such a bad mental health place that I didn't have the ability to extract myself from the situation and just see how good my life around me really was. And I was just miserable. And so I ended up went to Redondo Beach. And this amazing woman named Christy, who is now a dear friend of mine and a mentor in medicine work, she served me my first psychedelic journey. And it was
What are we talking?
so profoundly life-changing.
We talking the thing that grows out of the ground? We talking about the thing that is manufactured on? Oh,
it was a bit of everything. And so she was like, "We're going to start. This is your first one, so we're going to start you on really light medicine."
Okay.
I was like, "Okay, cool." She gave me the light medicine, and I was like controlling the experience so much. I was so afraid to let go and allow that I was like, "I don't feel anything," and she was like, "Motherfucker, like, what are you doing?"
Because you came from the same place as me, and I've talked about this a lot, like in the past episodes, where you're like actually afraid of the thing. Yep. You're afraid of the medicine. We've talked about this, like afraid of losing your mind, afraid of like ripping the hole in the time continuum, never coming back the same in a bad way.
Yeah.
So like you were like, what was it? Just you were in such a place where you were willing to try anything?
I was actually really excited for the experience of the journey.
Okay.
But it was just my mind that had this constant operating system of, we need to control everything. We need to make sure that this one thing doesn't happen, because then we're a fuck up or a failure, or we're not going to be able to understand what's about to happen to us. And the reality is, like, our conscious minds are so limited. There's a universe of infinite possibility around us all the time. And we think that by trying to control stuff with the plans that we've crafted in our minds that are a fraction of a minuscule little whatever, we're like, yeah, like that's how I live my life. And that's how I was approaching it at the time. And so she came over, and we have these really lovely chocolates that we work with that are mushroom and ayahuasca.
Wow.
Together. And it's big medicine. We don't give people, first timers, big medicine like that. She's like, I'm going to give this to you. And you just relax, just breathe, focus on your breath. And I was like, okay. And it was the most transformative experience for me, because it actually set me down a path of being like, everything I thought I knew, I don't actually know. And I need to calm the fuck down. And I need to just allow life to unfold.
I don't know if I want that, though. I don't know if I want to calm the fuck down. I don't know if I want to forget, like, everything I know isn't, like, yes, I want that, but I don't know if I want that realization. I wish I was just already on the other side.
Well, and you know, it's funny because I've had so many conversations with clients recently, and I'm like trying to build up my client base out here in LA because I was in New York for 15 years before this. And so many people will have an hour-long conversation, and I'll tell them all about the process, all about the medicines that I work with, understand where they're coming from and why they, like, what the intention would be. And then, you know, I'll get a text 2 days later and be like, I can't do it right now.
I'm too scared.
I'm too afraid. And the reality is, and like, this is a saying that's been out there on the internet for a million years. I'm not.
This isn't a Jaguar original.
This is not a Jaguar original.
Unfortunately.
But on the other side of your fear is your freedom.
Ah,
and it's so fucking true.
I know.
And it doesn't just involve psychedelic medicine. It involves literally everything, right?
Fair.
Like, and you were talking on an earlier episode of the pod about like your Leo nature and like being seen and actually like having the spotlight on you and embracing that.
Yeah.
Like, that's part of it too, right? On the other side of your fear of being seen is your freedom to actually live your purpose.
I was like, okay. I'm back on board.
Okay, we're back.
You got me back in.
Great.
So you have this transformative experience.
Yeah.
And I kind of do want to know though, like what happened?
Yeah. I mean,
were you just like
a lot of different things.
Rick and Morty episode, or like what happened?
It was a bit of a Rick and Morty episode. I think one of the things that I remember so clearly was I was walking through this forest, and it was kind of dark but very peaceful, and lots of really big trees, almost like sequoias around me. Walking down this path, and these trees just kind of flank up, and they get really close to each other, and they bar me from continuing down the path. And I'm banging on these trees, and I'm like, let me through, let me through. And my spirit guide, let's call it, a little fox made out of purple and gray smoke.
A fox made out of purple and gray smoke.
Her name's Minerva.
I love her.
She's such a babe.
Nerves.
But she appears out of the ground, and she looks at me, and I'm like, oh my God, the fox is looking at me. What the fuck? And she's like, you are the trees. Can you just calm down? And as soon as I let go, because that was still my conscious mind holding on to, like, I can control this experience. I can, and so like those trees blocking my path were still my conscious mind that had earlier, before I had the mushroom and ayahuasca chocolate, still preventing me from dropping in, still preventing me from feeling the medicine. And so as soon as I like let go, I was like, okay, cool, now we can do it. And then I dropped into the earth, which is very cool and peaceful. And out of nowhere, a diamond appeared.
Ooh, chic.
And very chic.
Lux.
And I'm also an April baby. And I was like,
Oh,
okay, maybe that's
she
what this
said,
means. Like,
yeah.
that's my birthstone.
Yep.
Turns out, I end up a year later having conversations with two guys who I end up co-founding a company with that made diamonds out of air pollution.
What?
Yeah. Fucking insane.
First of all, what you said is insane.
I mean, the whole sentence is insane.
What you just said was the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I've heard some crazy fucking shit. What do you mean you're making diamonds out of air pollution?
We took CO2 out of the atmosphere, isolated the carbon down, put that into diamond reactors, and made lab-grown diamonds out of it.
Oh,
yeah. Insane.
That's so insane.
Right. But that was like, I made such a connection back to that experience during the journey where I was like, this diamond appeared to me out of nowhere. Like, it literally just appeared. And I was like, okay, well,
I guess I gotta follow the list.
it was like a bit of a premonition.
Yeah. Wow.
And so it was this really wild connection of like this understanding that time is not necessarily linear. Like, we have this ability to really connect with ourselves. Like, I'm a young version of myself and an old version of myself right now at the same time. And so that really set me down a path of like, I need to do this medicine more, because I felt happier than I had ever felt in my entire life after this journey.
And isn't that, they call it like, I mean, in sobriety, they call it the pink cloud, where you're like, wow, everything's amazing. And then like 6 months later, you're like,
dissipates a little bit.
Fuck, I forgot Trump's still president.
Like, oh shit, reality's still real.
I'm still here.
What do we do?
Yeah. And you're kind of like, okay, this is something I see what it can do. I see what it's done for others. I'd like to see what it can do for me.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, and that's why, like, I call it a medicine practice too, right? Same as a yoga practice, same as a meditation practice. You're not a one and done type of thing. And the tricky thing about our brains is that we have these operating systems that have been built over years and years and years, where we get these grooves kind of carved into our, patterns of living, and things that we've taken from our parents, either consciously or subconsciously, things that we've built for ourselves. And to undo those patterns, to untangle all those cords in our computer that's up here,
Nice.
it takes more than one journey really to help you along the way. But kind of to what you were saying, I've worked with a lot of people who are in recovery as well. And the beautiful thing about these medicines is that it kind of gets them to a place of being able to say, holy shit, like, I really don't need a drink right now. I don't need a whatever. And
I have to imagine that it also resets. Like, I'm just finishing this book called The Molecule of More, talking about like dopamine addiction, and like resetting that relationship to the addiction is also, I'm sure, totally shook up. Like, you're able to see it from a different perspective. I'm sure the dopamine that is happening during the medicine is like resetting. Like, I just have to imagine you're repaving a lot of beliefs
100%.
during that shakeup.
Yeah, you're reorganizing your brain to a certain extent. And so these medicines work with serotonin and dopamine pathways. And so what happens is, we're so used to scrolling on our phones or having a drink
Guilty.
or whatever. Like, right? That's what we do. But our brains are now, every time we do that, we're reinforcing that connection. Like, the cord that's built from that pathway to our computer gets thicker and thicker and bigger and bigger.
Girl, my TikTok cord is crazy fat. I got a thick one up there. She is thick.
Yeah. But like, what these do is they actually help us unplug the cord and plug it back into the place that's really meant for us, right?
Yeah.
Going outside, getting sunshine, like just feeling the breeze on our face, cuddling our dog, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So you have this incredible journey. You have this like premonition. Things are starting to like align, right? Because that's I'm seeing miracles also happen just even in this new like 12-step journey that I haven't like fully talked about on the pod yet, but like following this program, sort of releasing the grief or the addiction or whatever it is to a higher power. Like, when I would hear that, I'd be like, everyone's high in here. What the fuck is anyone talking about? And then, of course, like the second I do that, like something major came through that was like a huge deal. That's something I've been manifesting and thinking about for years. And I'm like, oh, holy shit. Okay, fuck. This is the thing everyone's talking about. So I know that feeling where you're like, I'm on the right path. I should keep following down this path.
Yeah.
how do you go from I've started a turning air pollution diamond business, which again, we gotta circle back to that later offline.
Yeah.
Where do you go from like, this is something that's a practice that maybe I'm dipping into as like a partaker versus
a practitioner of it.
For a practitioner.
Yeah, I think, I very diligently and consistently did these medicine journeys just as a participant. And I would go, we would have group ceremonies. I did some private ceremonies. And it was really powerful for me. And I didn't necessarily feel called to work with this until I started working with a medicine called Bufo, which is toad.
And on that note, we're going to take a quick break because I can't imagine a better thing to pause on before getting into toad venom.
Toad medicine.
BRB.
Yeah.
Bufo, Bobby. Tell the people, what does the folks need to know at home about Bufo?
Yeah, so Bufo, you may have read about it. There were some good articles in Forbes and
crazy documentaries on YouTube.
Amazing documentaries.
Yeah, go check those out.
But essentially what this is there's a Sonoran desert toad, lives underground for 9 months out of the year.
I've watched so many videos about this.
So many.
Seen people do it, been around it.
Yep.
Still baffles me every time someone talks about it.
It's fucking insane.
It's a magical toad that lives underground.
Toad that lives underground. And then during the rainy season, it comes out to like copulate, get its bang on. And that's when people, and so the Sonoran Desert is like northern West Mexico, southwest part of the United States, kind of extends, but very into Mexican culture and tradition in that region. And so what they do is they have glands on the sides of their necks and they excrete this liquid and they dry out the liquid and then you put it in a pipe and you smoke it. And
same guy that milked a cow probably figured this one out, right?
Honestly, we as humans, we do the weirdest fucking shit.
Someone licked the toad and then was like,
Yup.
I think I should milk a cow. I'm
Right?
on a roll here.
Why not?
I keep milking things.
I have nipples, Greg.
Yeah, you can milk me. Can you milk me? Good callback.
Yeah, thank you. But so the wild thing about it is that, so the molecule is called 5-MeO-DMT. And so people may have heard about DMT just as like a general thing. There are vapes out there.
Yeah.
But the 5-MeO version of the molecule is the most powerful psychedelic available. And
Crazier than ayahuasca. People don't realize that.
it is crazier than ayahuasca in terms of the intensity.
Yeah.
So ayahuasca, just in terms of like the logistics of stuff, 6 or 7 hour journey. You're down on the mat. You're wearing an eye mask. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Maybe shitting, maybe
purging.
up.
Yeah, front or back.
Up, down, in, out. Sideways.
All of the holes.
Yeah.
And so with Bufo, though, there's no purging. It's per pipe. It's about a half an hour experience. So
That's so short.
really short, but super intense. So you go and you talk to God. Like it is, you're straight up sent into the stratosphere. You become connected to everything. You realize that you and I are not separate. Like we are the exact same.
Well, I believe that. We
thing.
do fuck
Like,
with
and
each
it's-
other.
right?
Yeah.
And so that experience, I worked with this guy in Brooklyn. And my first experience with Bufo, I got transported to this infinite white space. And I was a 6-year-old kid, just sitting down at a table with a sheet of paper and a crayon, just coloring. Happiest I've ever been, just so content. And this nameless, faceless, very benevolent, like kind figure walks up to me and says, "Can I color with you?"
It's giving Dumbledore.
It's so Dumbledore.
Dumbledore
like,
in the white.
at King's Cross at the end. Yeah, Hondo P. And so I, as this kid, very joyously, I'm like, somebody wants to color with me. What the hell? And so I take this crayon and I break it in half. I give them the sharp end and I give them half of my sheet of paper, very joyously, I mean, like, I'm not giving anything away from myself. Like I'm giving to myself. Like if this is the act of sharing brings me so much joy.
Yeah.
And I remember how when I was a kid, the act of giving, the act of sharing actually really did give me so much of a sense of fulfillment and happiness and contentment. And I, like, in that moment, I was like, this is heaven. This is God. Like, this is what this is. And so I came back from this experience and I come to consciousness. My ears are full of tears, which great album title, if anybody.
Ears full of tears.
Ears full of
Taylor,
tears.
are you listening?
I know, right, Taylor? And I just like, and the practitioner who served me was looking at me with just such a big smile on his face. And he's like, "You saw it?" And I was like, "I fucking saw it." And that immediately, I was like, I need to do this for other people.
Wow, talk about a fucking calling.
Yeah.
Like that, when you say it like that, it feels so obvious.
Yeah, but it never was. Like,
because you wouldn't have gotten there without it.
100%.
You would have kept going to what we believe to be our purpose.
Right.
Down that path had you not been able to shake it up.
And every little step, like I always marvel, and there's something that I marvel about psychedelics in general too, but every little step in my life, right? Like, had I not been at this corporate job for a Fortune 500 company where I met my friend Courtney, and then she invited me to LA to do my first plant medicine ceremony.
Yeah.
And then I was in medicine so much that I got introduced to a Bufo practice. Like,
all of that.
All of those dominoes are insane. But what's also insane to me, and this is kind of what we built into the doctrine for Jaguar House, is the fact that these medicines exist in nature is not an accident. Like, the fact that they are psychedelic for us / to us, however you want to prepositional phrase it, they exist like that for a reason and for our benefit. And there was a study that was done recently. I think it was Johns Hopkins, but I'm not entirely sure. But they said that psychedelic mushrooms actually evolutionarily developed 2 different pathways to become psychedelic.
What?
So these mushrooms were like so committed to me, like, we are going to bend people's minds.
We are here to fuck
We're
shit
gonna
up.
do this in 2 different ways.
Right.
And that to me is insane, right?
Because they're alive.
One pathway.
They're a sentient thing.
Right.
Mushrooms are for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Like, I watched that Netflix show. They are alive.
Fantastic fungi.
It was fantastic fungi. So yes, I'm so glad you pivoted to the church because I've watched, again, too many documentaries on drugs because I'm afraid of them. Some of them, but the ones that send you places, I'm afraid of.
Sure.
And I saw in Florida that this had happened where there was a church established because you're protected by something. But talk to me about the process. Talk to me about what sparked you to want to do that, because now you're doing it for, like, you've a calling. It's like your purpose.
Yeah. And what I would say too is there are a lot of psychedelic medicine practitioners out there who don't do this and don't go through the process of forming a church at like 99%.
Oh, wow.
I would say. And that's just a number I came up with on this sofa.
Listen,
right now.
wait, where's my button? I told you I might hit it. Don't Google it.
Don't Google it. But the reason I did it is, one, as we all know, psychedelics are federally regulated, or
for now
prohibited, I should say, illegal.
For
now, until we actually have some people have a wake up call, and that's one of the things I'm writing about in my book.
They gotta the book.
The
we
book.
gotta
We'll
talk
get to
about
the
that.
book.
Oh yeah, fuck.
That's okay.
Offline. I just had an ADHD thought.
We'll get
Sorry,
to it.
we'll get to it.
Same brain.
Back on. We're back on track.
We're back. But so the reason I did it is, as a religious organization, we can say, you know, as I talked about in our doctrine, like, we were meant to work with these substances. We were meant to work with these plants and these animal medicines. And this is what we believe as a religious organization. And so if you found a church, which we're now, you know, a 501c3 accredited organization, which is just amazing.
They had to make it a bit. They just had to.
Classic
America.
But I mean, so the reason I did it is, if that is in your doctrine, we are protected by the Religious Freedoms Act that allows us to serve the psychedelic medicine as our sacrament legally to
What
anybody.
What does sacrament mean?
It's basically just any holy substance that somebody consumes.
Okay.
And so that's what we believe to be holy for the purposes of our church doctrine. And what's amazing is, you know, you can sign up to be a member of our church. You make a donation in order to participate in a ceremony. That donation is tax deductible.
Wow.
Because we're a 501c3.
You can deduct your psychedelic journey.
That's right.
Because you're at the church. You going to see Jesus, baby.
That's right.
That's insane. I did not know that.
Well, and the other reason that I formed the church is, and don't tell my lawyer I said
won't.
this, but I always, and this is not related to the church necessarily, but in general, my philosophy around life is, I always like to use the system to fuck the system a little bit.
Fuck yeah. Oh, you're on the right podcast.
Yeah. Knew I was.
We found each other.
And I think, you know, as we look at the world around us right now, we are so desperately in need of leadership that brings compassion and understanding and perspective and caring, and not ego
Facts.
into it.
There it is.
And so my whole reasoning was, if I could do this in a way that was legal, if I could do this in a way that really honored what my beliefs were,
True.
which, you know, that's what the church is doing. I could do this to help people and actually allow them to heal themselves, work through trauma, figure out how to be better, how to manifest faster, how to whatever, and also get the benefits of tax deductions and all the other things that come with running a church.
Yeah.
Why the hell not?
Well, that's the thing I don't think we take into account too, is like all the people that you hear about that are like shamans or professional trip sitters or whatever. It's like they have to make a living as well. Like if it's something that it's full time, like, yeah. And are they accredited? Do they have the right resources? Do they have recommendations? Like, do they come as a professional, or are they like your friend's uncle Steve that grows peyote in his backyard?
Well,
you know what I mean?
That's the thing too, is I think especially in the spiritual communities, right? And especially in medicine communities, there's so much of a sense of like, who the fuck is this guy? Like,
false idol.
What
shit.
is going on?
Yeah.
Well, and you use the word shaman too, which I'm so glad you did, because there are so many white people out there using. I'm just gonna look at the camera right
Straight
now.
down the
Daddy's
barrel.
getting out his soapbox. Stop calling yourself a fucking shaman.
You can't be, right?
Unless you are from Siberia or northern Mongolia, which that's where the term originated. Stop calling yourself
You're
a
not a
fucking
shaman.
You're not a
Stop
shaman. Your wide brim felt hat with the feathers in it that you got from anthropology.
Just
does
because
not
you went
make
to
a
Brazil
shaman.
once and did ayahuasca doesn't make you a shaman.
Quit it.
Love that. Glad we said that.
Great.
Yeah. So with the church, can you talk a little bit about what one's experience at the church with a ceremony, could be looking like? Because also we sat down the other day and I basically blabbed at you for like an hour about my fears around medicine.
I love listening to you. You're like one of the most fascinating people.
I love to hear it too, and that's the problem. And you had started naming things that I have never fucking heard of.
Sure.
And I like to think I've heard of a lot.
Yeah.
But you were saying shit that I was like, brother, what?
Yeah.
So tell me about your little spell book. What's in your pages?
Your medicine cabinet.
Your Bible.
Well, yeah, and that's one of the things too that I think, you know, there are other facilitators of medicine out there where they'll get a group ceremony together and like everyone's doing 2 grams of mushrooms. I'm like, that's not how I work.
Absolutely not.
I will have a consultation with somebody. I'll be like, where are you in your life right now? What's going on? What's your intention for this? And then what I will do is really come up with a quote unquote prescription for you, for your specific journey based off of all of that stuff that you shared with me. And so I work with a number of medicines. Obviously, I have a lot of mushrooms available to me, but all different strains that kind of do different things. I have the chocolates that are mushroom and ayahuasca together, which are like, they're so beautiful. One of my favorite medicines.
I want to see.
And then we have a whole kind of pantheon of what we call heart openers. And so it's anything from kanna to white lily to bobinsana to sassafras, all of these plants that exist out there in nature that have benefits for us. And we'll combine them in different ways so you can get kind of the experience that we're trying to curate for you.
Wow.
But really it's about, and I've done well over 100 journeys myself at this point. Like my brain is either absolute Swiss cheese or it's running on all cylinders. I think it's binary.
Listen,
there is no in between.
I think you're doing all right. I'll give you that much.
Honestly, I could just be drooling on myself at home right now. Just this is
I was going to say, no, trust me. But then I was like, that doesn't really give it any validity. Actually, I should not say that.
Yeah.
Never mind.
Yeah.
You're doing great.
We're doing great.
Yeah.
We're both doing great. But so, you know, my experience with all these medicines, and I approach it from a scientific standpoint too. Like I am fascinated with psychopharmacology. I'm fascinated with neuroscience. I will never serve somebody medicine that I've not done myself in different dosages, in different settings and contexts and all of that. And so every medicine that I work with, I have worked with at least, you know, a certain number of times for me to feel really, really comfortable with serving it to somebody else. But I also then combine them in different ways too. And I'm like, okay, this one over here combined with this one over here actually allows me to, and you know, whatever it is, like bring up traumatic experiences from my childhood that I know are stuck in there that I really have to battle through. Or this one over here combined with this one is going to be just a really beautiful experience, and I'm going to journey with my partner together, and we're going to have just a lovely time. So,
and so
Which
you
I
mentioned
also don't have a partner right now. So
we're just putting that out there.
Yeah.
And how I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out, y'all. If I figure out a red flag, I'll let you know. I'll circle back, but I don't see one yet. I've been taking notes because you mentioned like a lot of people also do like group trips, and then there's individual experiences. Like, what is your process? You know, the same location all the time? Do you go to people? Does the church travel?
Yeah, I mean, it's a traveling church. We are not location based yet. Although, you know, as we grow and get bigger, like I definitely want to have a physical location or a big ceremony room.
Yeah.
But for right now, and I'll put it out there, we're looking for venues. So
great.
if you have a big studio or an art gallery or, you know, whatever, where you can get 12 to 20 people on a mat lying down, reach out to us, please.
Hey,
that would be
LA.
great. We're looking for group ceremony locations. But I started out in group ceremonies, and they're very different than privates, which are kind of individual, or you can do a private as a couple, or, you know, 3-4 people that you know. Groups for me were a really nice way to get into the medicine, because it gave me the ability to have a support team around me, of people who had done it before, and I was like, okay, well, she's having a rough time, she's doing great over here, like something's happening where like, and you'll get kind of the range of like, oh, these are what people's experiences could be with this medicine. And that was great. But then I found that I have this knack for doing mental mapping of my experiences. And so every time I did a psychedelic journey, I would create this mental map of, oh, I've been here before, or this feels really similar to this other thing that I experienced. And so I got into a place of wanting to do privates a lot more, because I was like, I don't want to have that kind of external influence around what it is that I'm going to be experiencing. And oftentimes the practitioners that I worked with, I would say, I need you to serve me really big medicine, which is not always the way to go, by the way. That was right for me at that time. But it gave me that ability to go super, super deep. And there's also something with, I'm a little bit of a redhead. Redheads, we have a resistance to anesthesia.
What?
And to painkillers and to psychedelics.
I did not know this.
Truth.
This is new information.
Yeah, my sister, who's just like a shocking redhead, she just like full on fire. She's like, anesthesia doesn't work on me.
Oh
she's
God,
like,
that's my nightmare.
Right?
I love anesthesia.
Me too.
I love it. Sign me up. I can't wait
God.
to die for the pure fact that I love anesthesia.
I mean,
just take me out.
Gone.
I'm lights out.
Gonzo.
Yeah.
But when I had my wisdom teeth taken out, I was at the dentist's office, and they're like, oh, they put the mask on me. They were like, okay, count down from 10 to 1. And I was like, 10, 9, and I got down to 1. And the doctor was like, oh, shit.
Keep going.
And I heard the little like valve on the tank just go, just like, try it again.
Flood you.
Yeah,
you got to flood them.
I was unconscious.
My dentist always makes me feel like a drug addict because I'm like, you need to turn it up. It's not that because I am a drug addict. I just need, like, I don't feel anything, brother. Yeah. I am an intense person.
Help me.
And he always makes me feel like a fucking mood. Anyway,
no,
not this
good.
podcast.
You're good.
So you've had so many,
big medicine with these private journeys that really helped me unlock stuff. And that's why I find that like Bufo is the #1 medicine that I love to work. I work with everything to serve, certainly. But in terms of receiving medicine and actually practicing with the medicine, doing a journey myself, I love working with Bufo for a number of reasons. One, because it is so big.
Yeah.
2, because it is such like for me, a very loving, wonderful experience.
Wow.
But 3, it's also, and this is not the reason to do a specific medicine, but it's also really efficient. And so I work with a lot of executives and other people from the business world who I'm connected with or from grad school. And I've been running what I call the Enlightened Executive Program, where it's a 21-day, 3-week program. Every Monday morning, first thing in the morning, we'll work with Bufo. And we'll do like a decent sized pipe of Bufo. And then they get up, they can drive their car, go to the gym, go to work for the rest of the day. If you're ingesting plant medicine, that stays in your system.
Yeah.
You're down, and then you're groggy.
Yeah.
And then the next morning you wake up, you're like, oh, I'm still kind of groggy.
Crazy. I need some integration.
Yeah. Bufo, though, you metabolize it so quickly that you can go on with the rest of your day. And then I provide these execs with microdosing protocols throughout the week, journal prompts. We have coaching calls.
And that's like some information that I feel like in the world of executives is very well known. But I think there was an article that came out not long ago where it talked about like, oh my God, you mean Apple and Google and Hulu and all these heads of companies are doing psychedelics on the weekend? It's like, how do you think of an iPhone? That's drugs. That's medicine. That is creative brain holes opening up into outer space.
Totally.
Like, that's how the light bulb was invented. I'm going to say right now, Benjamin Franklin, high as a kite with that thing, no pun intended, out there with that
electricity.
Yes, like, how do you think that happened?
Yeah.
But that's like truly, and I think that's a brilliant piece of your church, is that like you can do that sort of high level thinker as well as the brand new baby person into the world.
Working with everybody too, because if it's just an individual coming to me and saying like, you know, I've had a really rough time in my relationship, or, you know, I'm still processing a lot of childhood stuff and I can't seem to let go of it. I love that, because that's where I was back in the day. And I needed somebody who, a lot of people helped me out with that. And I'm so grateful that I get to help somebody else in that way.
Yeah.
But I also work with celebrities, and like I have an actor who said that it helped him understand a character that he was playing more deeply than any other character he's ever played. And a musician who was like, there is a combination of notes that came to me during this journey that I never would have thought of in a million years, and this is bomb as fuck, and I'm going to put this out, and it's going to be an amazing track.
Wow.
And it was great.
That's crazy.
So it's been so fun and rewarding to be able to work with everybody from every walk of life.
Yeah.
And one of the other things that I love doing too is, so 10% of the exchange that I get for every journey, I put into a fund. And so anybody who can't financially access the normal rates that we have, I say, great, I'm going to just pull from the fund.
You're kidding.
Well,
that's
I think
so
that's so
amazing.
important, right? Because otherwise we're creating another wealth gap for healing.
That is so important.
We cannot have that if we want to make the world a better place.
Because often the people that need these things also the most are in a place that they don't have the access to it, the accessibility. That's really cool.
Well, and it's been proven psychologically that if you are constantly stressing about money issues, you cannot actually get yourself mentally out of a position where you can think clearly about how you can then address your situation or make it better or do whatever you need to do.
Because the stress is too big.
Because it's really all consuming.
Yeah.
And you have cortisol spikes on a constant basis. Yep. It's really just biochemistry. And we're constantly flooding hormones through our bodies. And for somebody to be able to say, I can do this work and I don't have to worry about the cost of it is so important to me.
I want to ask you something, because this might just be a selfish question as we're like wrapping up. I can't believe we've been already talking for as long as we did, but of course we have.
Fire signs.
We can't help ourselves. So for someone like me, right, that clearly has like a chronic pain issue, a past in panic disorder, like you've heard a lot about my story and my just self, you know, the whole internet knows. Let's be real. I put it all out there.
Which I love you for, by the way.
Stop. Love you. And is terrified that I'm going to do Bufo once and end up in a mental institution for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
How do you manage that? How do you manage someone like that? Because you know I want to do this, and you know this is something that's interested me for a very long time.
Yep.
But and like you said, you run into a lot of people who are afraid of it. Like, how do you help people see the light?
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple of things in that. One, I'll start off by saying you are not going to end up in a mental institution.
How do you know?
Well, not from this.
Fair.
If we go together.
You're so right.
But I think the other thing that's really important to take care of is understanding what other medications you're on, right? And that's always like, we have an intake form that we use for every member of the church that comes through, every client that we work with.
SSRI girly over here, you know that.
Yeah, and so SSRIs and MAOIs, they're contraindicated to a lot of these psychedelics, which means that you shouldn't be using them together. And so what we often do is try to figure out and understand, you know, why are you taking the medication? What's your dosage? How reliant are you upon it? And then if somebody really does want to approach the medicine, we say, okay, cool. Talk to your doctor about what your plan is. Always talk to your doctor first. We are not medical professionals. I'm not a licensed physician. But figure out, like, talk to your doctor about the fact that you want to do this. And I think there are a lot of doctors, especially mental health doctors, that are out there who understand that this is a growing thing for a lot of people and the value of it. And they'll say, okay, great, we can get you on a plan where we can wean you off of the medicine so that you can then do a journey. And so it's always handled with the utmost amount of care and respect for not just your doctor's advice and the medicine that you're on, the pharmacological medicines that you're on. But also the way that you then as a person are going to have to reintegrate into your everyday life after the journey that you did.
Right.
And integration is actually a really important part. We always say, in the medicine community, those of us who really mind it, integration is 50% of the experience. When you're down on the mat doing a journey, that's great. That's active. That's like all the fun visuals and all of like the fun stuff. But really, it's about how do you take what your experience was and the learnings from it and then integrate that into your daily life so that way you can be that much better as your baseline going forward constantly.
Yeah. That's key, I feel like, too, is a lot of times when people who aren't doing it from someone that's been doing this a while or knows the medicine really well is like there isn't a lot of integration. Or even with me when I did the one ketamine journey, there was like one post call like over Zoom. It was probably like half hour where I was like, yeah, that was great. So, and then like I didn't go back because I had such a hard landing coming back in. And like I've told you, I fought it. Like I did the macro plus the booster and I was in outer space wide awake.
Yeah.
I did not go inward.
And
I was
so dissociative too.
Bro, and I have dissociative disorder. Like I've struggled with disassociation with my anxiety. Anyway, I digress. This isn't about me, but it will be.
Is, though. And that's so important, though, actually, because there are so many people out there who have the same types of concerns, right?
SSRI's been plagued with medication their whole life, still suffer in certain things. It's a Band-Aid over a bullet hole. We would love to get to the bottom of the well. Yeah. Or what did you say? The computer. We'd like to unplug, but
put
we
the plugs, the cords right in the
Our cords are cemented.
The glue.
We are literally handcuffed to our own cords.
Yeah.
So for people that are like curious about more, that are hearing all of this and their ears are starting to percolate and go, ooh, I like the way this tickles my fancy. Tell us, how can people get involved in the church?
Yeah.
What can we do to support it? And where can the people find you if you want to be found?
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm on Instagram _Bobby Lennox, Lennox with 2 N's. That's kind of where I put out the majority of my content. Our website is jaguarhouse.org. You can go visit us there. Reach out to me. My email is bobby@jaguarhouse.org.
Wow, brave.
Brave. So
that was brave.
But the thing about all of this is we really, if you're curious, if you're interested, like I'm happy to have a conversation with you. It's not something where you need to like make a commitment about anything. Most of this medicine, because it's been so underground for so long, people come into it with this anxiety and this apprehension of like, am I doing something wrong? Am I going to get arrested? Am I going to die? And because we have the church and because we're very good about all of our training and everything, no to all of those things. You're not going to get arrested. You're not going to die. You'll be fine.
Your baseline levels are covered.
Yeah.
This has been so fun. I love it when my friends are like cool people and do cool things. Cause like, I don't know, unless you're watching this on the YouTube channel, you wouldn't know, but like you would expect someone like you to have dreads and like,
the affect of,
something really different, but you're just like a fashionista, little regular, degular, hottie patati, like
maybe
out in life. Yeah. You're like, you don't know what goes on under the skin. You're right. I don't know. You could be that man underneath. But yeah, I feel like that also brings like a safety net to people too, right? Because I think the other fear is that people are going to do this and then like abandon their lives and move to the forest and like maybe that sounds fun for a weekend, but I don't like bugs.
Yeah, I mean, also just like I do want to raise chickens at some point, but not right now.
Well, because eggs are expensive.
Eggs are so expensive.
That's why I want the chickens.
Thanks, Trump.
Fucking
guy. We're not going to end on him though.
No, hell no. Tell us again, where can we find you? How can we follow the church?
Yeah, Instagram _Bobby Lennox, jaguarhouse.org. What I also say is this woman is amazing. She's like one of the hardest working people I've ever met in my entire life.
So lazy. I can't even explain.
She's brilliant and vulnerable and honest and open all the time. So
don't do that.
Give her a 5-star on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Like, do it. If you're on Spotify, drop a comment.
Bobby!
Do it. You deserve it.
You work here now. Honestly, that was so nice. And everything you say, I'm rubber, you are glue. Everything you say sticks back on you because I feel the same way.
Meow.
I'm so glad to be friends.
Me too.
Bobby Lennox, thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Confidants. We'll fucking see you next week. Bye.
Bye.